Every day, everywhere you look, you are constantly inundated with logos, colors, and even taglines by companies trying to get your attention.
All of these companies have an identity, a backstory, or a reason why they exist.
Few people actually break down the brand image.
What's their why?
What's their mission?
What do they stand for?
Well, we've connected with entrepreneurs and other interesting people from these companies to share what it is about them and their company
that truly makes them brand worthy.
So let's get to the show!
Hey, what's going on, friends? Jason here with Love Local Media. Excited to be here today to talk to a pretty awesome guest. We're going to dive into that conversation here in a little bit to talk about the Schaumburg Business Association and just all the great things that they have to be able to help business owners and nonprofits thrive in our local communities. Mike, you looking forward to this conversation?
Definitely looking forward to it. I don't think a lot of people understand the benefits of an SBA and how much networking, how much knowledge, how much connectivity it can give somebody, especially if you're a small business owner and you're new and you're starting out a business. Think of the visibility you'd have by joining an SBA and connecting with other small business owners.
Yeah, I think as Schaumburg Business Association, SBA is, to me, is one of the most strategic and powerful associations to be at in our local community. The way that they're able to connect, they don't do anything small, but they do it to be able to help the business owners be able to thrive and to be able to grow. So this conversation today is going to be a good one that's going to give a lot of value to hopefully some people that come hang out with us at one of these SBA events. What do you think?
Absolutely. You know, I just finished watching again for like the 15th time, The Last Dance, which is, the documentary on the Bulls. Organizations are great, right? But it's also the people inside the organization that makes them so great. And so obviously we have a great member over here of the SBA that's helping out and is our sponsor, Bondi.
Bondi. He's sponsor of the year this year. He's going for sponsor.
He's my sponsor of the year. I don't know if he's officially won anything, but he's my sponsor of the year. I love the guy. So Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Glad to be here. As a member of the association, it's an easy choice to come and just sit in, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's actually where we got the opportunity to meet, probably in the middle of COVID sometime. I think that's when I got to be able to join, but definitely a great organization, and I'm glad you're a part of this conversation today, and super grateful for just your ability to be able to sponsor and help us to keep this show going and giving the people in our community a local voice. So thank you.
And showing us up with the sport jacket, too. So,
yeah, nicer shoes.
You could have given us a memo or something that you were going to do this.
We're going to have to talk about this.
But hey. Next episode, we'll doctor it up. We'll be in tuxedos. We'll show you.
Yeah. It might be a tuxedo T-shirt. I can't promise anything.
It'll be something like that.
And we want to introduce our guest, Lisa Gilbert, president of the Schaumburg Business Association. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I like what I've heard so far.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to this.
We'll get to the hard questions later.
Yeah. What is it like the Ring of Fire, that like quick minute, and we just go?
Oh, yeah. Rapid fire questions.
We'll be gentle. Before we dive into the show, and today we're going to talk about SBA's approach just to being able to empower business professionals here in our local community. We want to talk about, we love local. Did you know that we love local? You did? Okay, you had an idea. So we want to talk about local favorites first. So what's some of your local favorites? I know you know a lot of businesses. You've been living in the community for a long time. What are some of your favorites?
Truly, it's every SBA member, every Schaumburg Business Association member. We have just under 800 businesses. 60% are in Schaumburg, 40% are outside of Schaumburg. Wherever I am in the Chicagoland area, I'm going to find a member business. The best thing, I think, with the Chicagoland area in general is, especially the restaurants, such unique flair and flavor, and there's no two that are the same. And the heart of the business owner at anyone you go to. Yeah. There's a couple Dunkin' Donuts in the association. Each one, it's seeing the owner. It's seeing them smile. It's seeing the people who are in the restaurant with them. That's what I really enjoy.
I love that. It's the people that are a part of the organization, small business owners, to me in general, it's a human element. They truly care about what they're doing and to being able to connect with other people to help their businesses grow. So.
And I will share, every business owner has the option to join their local chamber or to not join their local chamber. Yeah. And the ones that decide to take advantage of the local chamber are the ones I'm going to love.
Yeah. As you should. I'll be like honest, and I mean, real about this. Like, I didn't know the value of a chamber before COVID, and I could honestly say in June of 2020, I joined the SBA. My life changed in many ways. The people that I was able to meet through your organization helped me gain confidence and helped me become a better leader, because we're all trying to build things. We're all trying to grow and support each other. So yeah, it's a great organization, and we look forward to being able to talk more as we get involved.
The SBA is really more than a chamber. It's a community, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's very difficult to see where the
Chambers and
administration.
understatement. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, you can't see where the administration ends, the membership begins, the different sponsorship levels, and people that use it for different things. It's got a little bit for everyone.
All right, Lisa, I have a feeling we could talk about the SBA members and all the value they bring all day. And we're going to talk about a lot of the great things that the SBA has. But first, I want to start, just get to know you, a little bit about the SBA, whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah. Well, so I have been with the Schaumburg Business Association for 10 years. Prior to that, I was at a private city club downtown Chicago. And I was there for 9 years, and I had gotten my master's degree in nonprofit management prior to that. So what drew me to the Schaumburg Business Association was truly, when I first interviewed, I think I remember saying in the interview, so are all the stores in Woodfield Mall members? And they said, no, the mall itself is a member. And I said, oh, this will be fun. Okay.
Yeah, I could do this.
Let's find out more about Schaumburg business. It's not just Woodfield Mall.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out, there's more manufacturing space than there is office space. There's more office space than there's retail space in Schaumburg.
Which I think people would be surprised.
So
That's a surprising thing. If you were to ask about Schaumburg, everyone just thinks retail and Woodfield.
Sure. And
Yeah.
maybe, a castle, medieval times. But there is as much office space in Schaumburg as there is in Milwaukee.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it kind of puts a different frame on it. So as a chamber leader, I'm thinking, how do we get the business community engaged? Because it's all about providing value to the business community. And with such an eclectic mix of business in the area, we really, pretty early on, recognized that treating each member, each business, as almost a boutique membership, it's where is that? Yeah. To find out what they would like to get out of the SBA. And not just each business, but the key individuals within each business. So we have the CEO, we have the CFO, the director of marketing, to the salespeople, to the production staff. What is going to be of value to that business, to the business as well as to the individuals for professional development, for training. How can we be a part of that? So keeping that in mind is kind of what we do day in and day out. We do operate. The Schaumburg Business Association operates on 5 pillars. And if anything that is brought to us does not align with those 5 pillars, we'll find another organization that business can partner with. So those 5 pillars, they're pretty broad, but it's economic development, it's community, it's being a resource, it's building relationships, and it's advocating for the members on their behalf.
Odd question, but how often is an organization not fit into that? And you've said, hey, we don't want to partner with someone. Is that a frequent thing?
It's not.
Or is it very rare?
It's more so events. They would like to bring a program to the SBA membership as a whole, and it might not align with some of those 5 pillars. So we say, instead of us, there is this nonprofit who has the similar audience that you want to reach. How about we make that introduction, connect the two, and then we would be happy to promote that event.
Okay.
Yeah, I think of the Schaumburg Business Association, it's I go to different networking events, and it's a blend. You have larger businesses, and then you have Adam's ACDC closets and the one-man shop doing his thing, but they're all supporting the SBA and connecting in the SBA, which I think is pretty powerful. That you could serve. That to me, I would think from the outside that's 2 different audiences, but how you all do it, it's you're giving value to both to be able to help them flourish and be able to support. I look at COVID, and man, you saved a lot of businesses, and just all the paperwork and all the things. I feel like you were leading the way to help understand what was going on, so then you could teach them. And Aaron, I see you bobbing your head right now.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see, especially being new to Chambers. It was like, oh, you're taking care of your small businesses. You're taking care of the people that are working within our community and giving them the tools they need.
Jason, that means so much because I felt like I did a lot of yelling during that time.
We all did.
There were a lot of businesses. For PPP, I was following up to make sure they filled it out when the portals were going to be open. Yeah. And I said, do you who's your banker? Who are you banking with? Oh, it's, this bank. Well, what's their name? Oh, I just did it online. You don't know your banker? Who's your accountant? Who's your CPA? You need to know these people.
Yes.
Take this opportunity.
Life's easier when you know these people.
A one-on-one and get to know them. Build these relationships, because COVID, knock on wood, is going to once in a lifetime. But there might be some other time when you need them. And building those relationships is going to help business be smoother for those business owners.
Yeah, definitely. When you're talking about relationships, what's the mindset around what you guys do with who you serve when it comes to just not only cultivating the relationships between you and the business, but also bringing people together?
So in my opinion, that's the most important thing. The SBA, we're a conduit to, who is the Schaumburg Business Association? It's the members.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the members. We will create that environment and kind of see what percolates from the members. But again, it's the members. They're the ones coming to us with ideas, recommendations. We are here to support you and those. That's how we have 13, 14 networking groups. We're adding new ones. We have networking for introverts.
I'm a part of, which might surprise our audience. That I'm an introvert.
Networking for introverts?
Yeah.
Is it just like everyone stays home and they just like send
nobody
an email?
talks to each other?
I don't know.
No, it's
Everybody just looks at the floor.
not to go too crazy on it. It's been really valuable because I think as an introvert, Mike, you knew me in corporate America.
Yeah.
And I was a hot mess. Like I couldn't speak, I couldn't do anything.
I don't know if people could imagine him being even more of a hot mess, but yes, yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So I don't remember where I was going with that. Sorry.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I know where you're going to go because we've talked about this before. I'm extroverted, so to me, you can just plant me somewhere and I'll just talk and it'll be what it is.
Yeah.
But like for introverts, you do have to network and you have to connect and you have to get your mission out there, your goal out there, or whatever you're trying to do. So I made fun of it, but like I do think there's definitely a good value.
You want to be an introvert. That's it.
No, I think I have introverts that are very close to me, and like a lot of times like they have a great message that they need to communicate, but extroverts take over the room. Like Steve Longs and me will take over the whole conversation, and they don't get a chance to plant their seed. So I think it has a
definitely is.
I think the Schaumburg Business Association really creates a space for people to run their business in a way that is most effective for them, right? Creating connections, creating an opportunity to sponsorship if they want to get their name out in lights, creating opportunities for people just to connect. I mean, even during COVID, it was nice to have Coffee and Contacts as a place that was on Zoom, right? I mean, we were doing some of that, and that was creating those connections that then once we transitioned back to normal times, people got to meet those people, and that's kind of where I got motivated to be more involved and things like that was that time period.
I think I just remembered actually one of our golf outings. That's when we had our ladies golf outing, and it had to go. We postponed it, but we still celebrated the day. I think it was in May, and we had the whole sponsors on. We turned into a ladies golf outing luau, but we had the CEO of Ascension on with a lay, and we recognized the whole sponsors, all the sponsors, but again, just a way to kind of commemorate the day that it was going to be the ladies golf outing, and which we ended up having later on in the year in person. But when that happened, it was great to, oh, nice to see you after having been on Zoom.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of remember what I was going to say before around the introvert stuff. It's not introvert group has been great for me, but it fits me. You have a bunch of different groups that fit people individually, and then through that, people are similar and they could collaborate and they could connect. Kind of go back to what Aaron said at the beginning about community, which I think is something that we're all like yearning for, especially after COVID. It's like, how can we do this life together better and be a stronger community, which I feel like do you and be your authentic self going into the Schaumburg Business Association, and your path will find you and where you should be, because you're going to find people that are like-minded and go through similar things or struggle with similar things.
And I think people are really receptive and appreciative of seeing somebody's true self.
For sure.
And they want to support that. So, we have that the Networking for Introverts is that new networking group. We also have a nonprofit alliance. We have a diversity alliance, and we have a women in business group. And all of these groups are really open to not just the individuals that you think they would serve, but to allies also who want to go and support and just recognize. Yeah. So when people come into a room, whether it's an introvert or whomever, they know, oh, I remember them from that meeting. And it makes everybody more comfortable.
Yeah, it's funny. You talked about the Nonprofit Alliance, and I was recently talking with somebody that was from another chamber that is not a part of the Schaumburg Business Association yet, but they were talking about the nonprofits not being able to gel with each other. And the reason for that, she went after they're chasing the same dollars and the same money. The Nonprofit Alliance, I've been a part of a couple times, and it's a bunch of people that run nonprofits that want to support each other and help each other and take best practices then to take to their organization so that they could do their thing even better. And that was really evident I think I was in 2 or 3 Zoom calls with that over that. And it's a powerful thing when you're not putting money at the forefront, but you're like, hey, how can we help each other grow? How can we help each other thrive? Here's our best practices. It worked. And maybe you could take that, maybe you can't, but it's super valuable to have that community of people.
It's that abundance mindset.
It's a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
Well, we need that on a T-shirt. Rising tide what was
raises
all ships. Sorry.
Well, I think one of the fun things too is that not only is it what the members put into it, but I think with the ambassador program, it allows the members to give back to what when they've received so much from an organization and usher in new members to stay with them for that first year to kind of give them some help. Say, hey, here's what helped me. I don't know if this helped your business, but this, these are the paths, these are the avenues, these are the connections I can help you make. I think it takes some of the pressure off of walking into a chamber and just being starstruck with all the people you've seen on all the advertisements all over the email and social media that you see. It's more of, oh, okay, this person is actually helping me kind of move things along, introduce me to people. So, it's a warmer introduction. It's a warmer type of networking opportunity, I think, and I think it's unique.
Yeah, and that's how I started. So I'm in a networking group, and now I feel like I'm learning from people outside of that group, and now I'm starting to get pulled into other directions. I mean, the SBA has so many members that it would be intimidating to get together in a very large format. So maybe it is easier to get into a smaller, function, and then you start to figure out the events and what really you want to do with the membership.
Yeah. We have just under 5,000 active individuals within the association. And as a new member, that can be incredibly daunting to walk into a room with 50, 75 people and just feel overwhelmed. And there's 5 of us on staff full-time with the SBA. We do as much as we can, but we're also staff, and we've recognized that. We've helped them through to join. It definitely means something different coming from an ambassador. Once they join, they get the welcome from the SBA, but then they get a welcome from another member within the association. And not just a welcome, but can we meet? What are your goals and what can we help you accomplish? Yeah. And who can I introduce you to? And I love, Aaron didn't mention it, but he's one of our newest ambassadors this year.
Yeah. He's modest.
Shameless
he's a modest ambassador,
plug.
but he's an ambassador.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
It's if I had to look at the ambassador group and having relationships with a lot of them, and Aaron touched on it, they're connectors. They're not just people that run businesses, but they want to help you connect so that you could do your business better, which is, to me, is an art and a skill that doesn't come to all of us very easily. It's something that could be learned.
There are also a lot of, the SBA as a whole, I think, is full of givers in that, if you come to one of our events, people aren't leading with their business card. They're leading with, tell me about yourself.
For sure.
Absolutely.
What do you do? And it's really made up of givers. All of the networking groups, they're all run by volunteers. The Nonprofit Alliance, that was Katie Brzezinski-Frank. And Christina Cox, that's been 4, 5, 6 years going on strong. And that's one I feel very passionate about. Throughout COVID, we didn't lose any nonprofits. That's about 50 members right there.
That's pretty awesome.
And
especially because nonprofits got hit during COVID
absolutely.
too. Yeah. you can't get funding and you can't do fundraisers and things like that the same way you used to, it puts a hurt on your bottom line.
Absolutely.
So to have that community of people that are going through that same thing is super supportive. You guys have a lot of great networking groups, a lot of great events too. The events are, I mean, anywhere from morning coffee and contacts to, I think of the toast for the members, and that's like a baller event, like tons of fun, and it's really high end, but it's about in all those events, people are connecting with each other and they're having fun as they do it.
Don't forget the golf tournament.
There's a golf tournament?
There's a golf
Oh,
tournament.
you want me to throw in that?
Yeah, there's
Aaron's
a
a
golf
golfer, if you didn't know.
Yeah, if you couldn't
A huge golf classic. It's coming up in June.
Awesome.
We actually use all 27 holes at the Schaumburg Golf Course.
Cool.
Huge golf outing, probably the largest one in the suburbs of Chicago.
And what day is that?
June 21st.
June 21st. Aaron, where are you at on June 21st?
I'll be at the Schaumburg Golf Club.
He'll be there on the 18th.
We start on number 2.
So networking events, you have our networking groups, a lot of great events as well. But that's not it. We talked a little bit earlier about like just all the tools and resources that are available through the SBA that are really led by your team. Want to talk about some of those things a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, it's in addition to the events that you see on a calendar for the SBA, those are about the 100 that we have. From the formal Toast of Schaumburg to we're doing a ladies' fashion show at the Woodfield Mall Grand Court, business after hours, leadership luncheons. Some of the other ones are, we had a sake fest where it was just a business appreciation event. There's 70 Japanese-owned businesses in Schaumburg.
Yeah.
And it was a way I ended up at a sake tasting with the Consulate General. And we said, hey, we should do this in Schaumburg. And about 4 months later, we did.
Awesome.
So it was one that was invite-only to those businesses within Schaumburg, but it was a way to bring the community together.
Connecting again.
Correct.
Yeah.
And everything that we do, every program, event, meeting, we always do it top-notch because that's what the SBA is always going to deliver. Yep. And we like to do an element of surprise as well. We love when people walk into an event. We know members and business professionals have been to numerous events. We love when they walk into ours and they say, wow, I'm all about efficiency. Our events on our time, we want you to be focused on your business and the topic at hand. So a lot of times any of us will interrupt people because we know they know each other to ask if we can introduce them to somebody they don't know. And to ensure that anybody who is in the room is helping advance their goals.
Yeah. Make people feel welcome when you do that. You're like, hey, this person could help you. Let me go connect you to that person. Remember? Yeah.
And I think that's something I try and remember, that we know everybody in the room, the staff.
Yeah.
So we're constantly reminding ourselves that as we go into events because we know everybody and we can see it all. But, doing that extra introduction, that push, do you know so-and-so? It's kind of creating magic because there's some introductions that I have an idea, this is going to go really well. And then to see what the two of them work up.
Yeah.
So that's honestly the best part, because it's the success within the SBA is great, but seeing the success of our members is what makes it all worth it. And the success outside of the SBA, both in their business life, but also we have businesses, people starting nonprofit groups. We have people doing their own fundraising and events and programs, and to Aaron's point, the sponsorships, taking those a step farther outside of just the SBA and knowing where those originally stemmed from is great. It's kind of like we're creating the roots of this huge tree that's covering the northwest suburbs.
Yeah, I love it.
The other thing you touched on, your staff, your team. There's a hidden element there in terms of the people that you have and how they make the members feel. Is whether it's a new member, I remember walking in and somebody knew me, maybe they knew my face, I don't know, but you felt welcome, right? So the connections are great, but the fact that you kind of recognize who people are before they walk into the room, that's something you can't teach, right? So that's a nice touch that your team has done a really nice job with.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Lisa, you had mentioned 10 years as SBA leadership, and kudos to you. A decade is a long time. And when you first took that meeting and thought the SBA was just kind of Woodfield to today, two questions. One is, what are you most proud of that the SBA has done in the last decade? And two, what is like a personal thing you're most proud of in that leadership role that you've accomplished to help for the SBA?
I think the thing I'm most proud of, and I'm a silver lining kind of gal, but COVID was really tough for a lot of businesses, but it also gave the chamber, the SBA, the opportunity to flex that advocacy arm. Yeah. And that's a flex that I continue to do. So that's something I'm most proud of, because there's a lot of resources for businesses with the county, with the state, on a local level, and getting that information to the members. And not just with eBlast, but there was a grant that was due at midnight on Wednesday night. I'm texting members, I'm like, did you do it?
Prove it. Prove to me you did it.
So it's really making sure that the members, Illinois is a great place, and Schaumburg's a great place to live and work and have a good time. And anytime I hear people say that they're having a challenge or there's frustration, that's when I like to find opportunities for them and ensure that they know about them and have all the resources to follow through and hopefully reap some rewards from it.
Yeah, I love that. As you look into the future with the SBA, what excites you?
What excites me is truly the members. Growing the membership, seeing who is going to be coming in. And I say that because we've continued to see an influx of business and people coming to Schaumburg, choosing the northwest suburbs for their new business home, for their employees. So we're having new businesses coming into town. They're bringing their employees. They're getting engaged. They view the Schaumburg Business Association as a turnkey solution that is one less thing their business has to worry about. They are now part of the Schaumburg business community, so their employees can come out and network. They can do the training that we offer. The CEOs, CFOs, they can get together, get to know each other. So it's really to see the SBA grow and to see what other businesses and people are coming in and joining the SBA that we can welcome to our business community.
Yeah, that's awesome. After COVID is like, everybody's wiping it off.
It's done.
I think it officially ended.
Right, midnight last night.
I didn't even know that, but that's a beautiful thing. Let's move forward. How do you see more and more people continuing to come back to the SBA, and whether it's coming back for the first time or whether they're coming back because they went on a hiatus? But do you see? Are you seeing growth?
We are. I think everybody has their path, their personal path. We like to say, probably last year is when our numbers really started to come back to pre-pandemic numbers. But we do have some individuals who aren't. They have a new hybrid model. They're working from home. And it's interesting. Somebody had said probably last February about, well, can I wear my pajamas to your event? I said, honestly, you can wear whatever you want.
Hey, Jason's always been wearing a hoodie and some sweatpants. I'm pretty sure that's pajamas for the last
Well, I don't know if you should tell them they should wear whatever they want. I mean, there should be some parameters, but
it's one of those things where they did come out. I was excited at their first meeting, and they said, okay, you can't duplicate this remotely on Zoom. You have to be here. And she came for the presentation, but seeing the old friends, but then meeting the new people, she said, this is just, I can't miss out anymore. And she goes, this is a great reason to come out. We actually have a few members who work remote, 100% remote. I don't even know where their main offices are, but they come to almost all SBA events because they said, this is my networking, my professional development. This helps give me that perspective so I can really excel at my role.
I know we were talking about the future, and it triggered my thoughts here, probably farther into the future. But Lemonade Stand Day last year, I thought it was a great way for children to understand business and understand putting a plan together. Did you want to talk a little bit about that and what you feel like, why we got engaged in that as an SBA and why we promoted it?
Absolutely, I'd love to. Lemonade Day was actually, I heard about it on a Zoom. That was so during COVID, I was on a monthly Zoom with weekly Zoom with Illinois chambers. And I think every 2 weeks with U.S. chamber execs, because especially hearing what different states were doing and how they were combating that for their businesses was important. During one of those U.S. chamber calls, somebody mentioned Lemonade Day, and then I just saw heads bopping, and I'm thinking, I have no idea what that is. So
Google this.
It was Vancouver. And I asked her if we could jump on a call afterwards. And she kind of filled me in on Lemonade Day, and I said, why have I never heard of this? Well, come to find out, we were the only one in the state of Illinois that was interested. So I reached out, and what it is essentially a entire program geared towards helping 3rd to 5th graders run a business. Yeah. And I've always been looking for something for additional entrepreneurship that Schaumburg Business Association can get involved with. District 211 has fantastic entrepreneur classes. There's the youth on the YAY program. And at one point I had asked, why aren't children signing up for those entrepreneurship classes? And they said, well, they just don't have an interest. Yeah. So with Lemonade Day, I'm thinking, well, if we can get them excited about business at a younger age. And what I really got excited about when I was thinking for Schaumburg was I was thinking of our members, our businesses. This community is unlike anything else. So the students have to come up. There's an app. There's either a workbook or an app that they can go through. They learn from Lemmy, who teaches them how to create a marketing plan, why it's important. Do they need to take out a loan? A $10 loan to get started, and the importance of paying it back. I think it's 98% of children who go through this program pay back 100% of their loans, and it's a national program.
The other two, they shake them down for it. They get they get the 2%. They get it.
And then they also, they have to execute. They have to go out and purchase their items. They have to build the stand. Students across, I don't want to say too much because we're doing it in June, but there's some kids who say, well, I'm going to do a lemonade stand at the dog park or at the dog store. I'm going to partner with certain businesses and be really creative with my lemonade stand. But what it was great.
So if you're out there, listen, there's some ideas there. Lisa's giving away some winners.
But the real great part is a lot of the businesses that knew they were going to have a lemonade stand, some of them uses employee team building. Yeah. So they said, does anyone have a student, have niece, a nephew they want to do this for? So they really put everything, the business put everything behind those students and advertised it and sent emails to their customers saying, hey, we're part of this program, the Schaumburg Lemonade Day. Come out and support these future entrepreneurs. And then after the day itself, they report back how they did. Did they make money? Did they lose money? Even if they lost money, they're a success because they had their first business. The majority of incredible entrepreneurs have had numerous failed businesses before one took off. So if we can start them if we can start them in 3rd grade, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
fail here.
The first comment was like, these kids aren't interested in entrepreneurship, right? It's not that they're not interested; they don't understand it. They don't, and this was a great way or conduit to do that. And the second piece is that it led to my daughter asking me questions. She's like, "Well, you have employees. How do you pay them?" And I'm like, she's like, is it our money or is it the business money? I was like, well, our money is you have to go through. And now she knows, like, well, how do you get a car? Does the bank own your car, Mike? Or, Dad. And she goes back and she calls me Mike too, though. But, she understands now what 3rd grader would understand that the bank owns the car or the house, or, things like that. It's amazing. And it's impacted my life. So I wanted to make sure we shared it with people on the story. So
I love it. I think talking to businesses afterwards, we had prior engagements last year, and I was super disappointed to not be there and hope to be there this year, as I feel like the best thing that we could do as this generation, as we're all becoming really transparent, is like to teach our kids how to build things and how to grow, not only values, morals, and all those things, but teach them how to build things. Like, this world is changing really fast, and it's going to be faster than what our life has been, just because of all the information that's coming at them. But to teach them to build, and to teach them the pieces of the business that will help them grow, like at such a young age, like, that's awesome. Like, and you're helping them thrive. My favorite part is hearing like the business owners and seeing the light in their eyes. it was like, oh wow, like this meant something. It meant something to them. Like took them back. And I remember talking to Dan Orger, and he was like, "This was like one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of."
Yeah.
And I think we were a part of.
I do remember. Yeah,
together.
you told me the same thing.
And I go back to like if we all could have that mindset, like, and we could put that towards our kids with, you know, events like this and whatever else we have in our wheelhouse as a society, like our world's gonna be a better place. Like, if we can help our kids,
Absolutely.
like let them build, because we're gonna need them to take care of us when we're older.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of that was a great event, and it's coming up. And when is it, in June?
June 29th.
Yeah. That's good to know. You do other collaborations within the community, and I know District 54. You do some stuff as well. I think it's camps.
So we are partnering with this year for Lemonade Day. District 54 is offering one of the summer camps for Lemonade Day.
Awesome.
And the Schaumburg Park District as well.
So the camp will like get them ready and take them through each step, and then.
Correct.
That's great, because it is hard for a parent to spend that much time to get them on a marketing plan. It'd be nice to teach, you know, if that's not their wheelhouse. It'd be nice to send them somewhere. To
Sure.
learn.
So I won't lie. I signed my kids up for Lemonade Day just so I could, you know, see what I was actually encouraging parents and others to do.
You got little spies in the camp, so be careful.
And I was, but I'm
Kids
not
are
a
reporting
teacher,
that.
so having them go through the workbook, I was like, okay, guys, we're going to do this. And some of the questions that came up were incredible. But more so, on Lemonade Day itself, I wasn't with my kids. I was going tasting everybody's lemonade. And afterwards, the feedback that they continued to tell me, they had their lemonade stand at a SBA member in our neighborhood, and every time we go by, they're asking, I wonder how he's doing. And, you know, next time we do the lemonade stand, we're going to do this instead because it'll increase our profits. I was like, who are you?
I know, like little entrepreneurs here. This is
Right?
good.
I can't wait to hear my kids say that.
It
Big tear
really,
in my eye.
well, and even looking at the cups, they did the math for the ounces, and they said, we'll have better return with these cups. And this was from the workbook. This wasn't, because I was not going through line by line. They were reading it and they were filling it out. It was incredible. I was so proud to have Schaumburg be the first one in the state.
I love it.
I was just at a chamber conference last week, I think, and somebody had mentioned Lemonade Day, and I was like, oh, now there's going to be a second one in the state. Because it really is a great program. And it started down in Houston, so it's big in the South, and seeing the national support for Lemonade Day is great. We were able to, last year, we raffled off a bike. We had so many prizes for people, the students going through this process. At our Good Morning Schaumburg in the fall, we invited the students with the parents so that the parents could see and experience the business community, that, you know, we're excited for these kids to start understanding and learning about business and hopefully creating their own in Schaumburg one day. We will, actually calls are going out today. We do give out scholarships to graduating high school seniors. And I have always been in awe with the seniors that are graduating from this community. Many of them have their own business, whether it's an app they've created and sold. And it's just incredible. So generating more excitement for business and knowing the Schaumburg business community is here to truly support from, you know, third grade up till, you know, no age. Just as long as you're interested, you want to grow, develop yourself, grow business, be open-minded. To your point, we don't know what they're going to be selling. Widgets is kind of covers everything. My son's now making YouTube videos and creating things. I don't even know where he learned to create from, but I know that what he's going to be doing, that career might not be invented yet.
Yeah, it might not be. The world's changing quick, and it's going to change even faster as we go. But the amount of information the youth has today, it's not like we had cartoons on Saturday morning when we were younger.
Right.
Now they got them every day, and not that they're learning from those, but they could go on YouTube. I remember having a conversation with my wife, and she was like, "Oh, we can't watch YouTube all the time." And I was like, "Well, what is he watching?" He was watching how to build a web shooter. And I'm like, honey, like, I would rather him do that than anything else. This is the world he lives in. It's not the same as us. You know, we were out digging holes and getting dirty and all those things, you know. But we have to lean into the things that they're going to need to be able to thrive, because like, go back to, we're going to need them to take care of us, and because of all the technology that's around us and that's evolving, like we need them to know it and do good things and build good things with it.
Right. And Lemonade Day is teaching the foundation of
100%.
business, because that's not going to change.
No, foundation of business is still there. It's what, especially with ChatGPT and all those other things, like the ideas and all the stuff is there. It's the execution, which is obviously the hardest part of it all, is going to be the piece that these kids are going to have to learn. But if they can learn it at like 3rd to 5th grade level, like that's pretty awesome. If somebody wants to go out and be able to experience Lemonade Day, you said it's the 29th? 29th. And then what if there's kids that want to get involved? How does that work out? Like, is there still availability?
There is. So we have a website. It's Lemonade Day /Schaumburg. So up until probably the day before, anyone in the public can go and sign up their children to be a part, and we'll touch base with them, make sure they have everything they need. This year, everybody is getting, I don't think I'm spoiling it, everyone's getting T-shirts as well as backpacks with all sorts of stuff inside the backpacks. Those are all from our sponsors for the event itself. And the day of Lemonade Day, you can actually go on that site and it'll map out all the lemonade stands that are happening.
I was about to say, because that's the only thing I found out about it late last year. So you can map out what your route will be for the day.
You can. And it was last year.
That's awesome.
It was the first year we were doing it, so we were really trying to figure it out. But I think I took that map, I pasted on everything Schaumburg, I pasted on our website. Yeah. We had a handful of members that kind of created groups and had lemonade crawls and, hit a handful of lemonade stands. And it's important, that kids learn safe handling. A lot of our members, when they went, I heard that they were asking questions, well, how much is this actually costing you versus what I'm paying? And the kids were answering. And my kids also...
The answer, like, none of your business. You want it or not? We don't give margin secrets out.
All right, yeah. Ice or no ice?
We're getting ready to wrap up here. But before we do, just go into our segment just around like your favorite local plans over the weekend, like whether it's this weekend or just things that you enjoy doing over the weekend. What's your go-to?
My go-to, it's kids sports, because that's what we're in right now.
Stage of life you're in.
That's what you're tethered to for those years.
But it's it's family time. It's really enjoying the family time, and it's being local. Wherever I'm at, my parents are in McHenry, we live nearby, Schaumburg, wherever, the games are, it's being local. It's looking for the chamber members. It's seeing what businesses are around and just enjoying and supporting local, because that's the lifeblood of any community.
Yeah, absolutely. And then take your kids along with you to do that ride. It sounds like a win-win. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we really enjoyed the conversation today. Mike, you got anything else you want to say?
I mean, you've sold me. I'm already a member, but if I wasn't a member, what's the best way that somebody should reach out, get in contact, or what's the first thing you've got for somebody who wants to join?
Yeah, they can go to our website, schaumburgbusiness.com. At the top right, there's a button that says Become a Member. They can click on there, or they can look at About the Staff. They can reach out to any 5 of us on the team. We've all sold memberships, but it's more so finding out the questions are answered. It's not too overwhelming. I hear that occasionally, that there's so much. First thing to do is to join. And to be.
If me and Mike could do it, y'all could do it.
It sounds overwhelming. It is not. They will welcome you in. They'll be in a bath. There's a lot of things. You can go try out something. You can come visit, and even if you're not an SBA member, to see if you like it. So
sure. And I always say it's bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's once you're a member, bite-sized pieces. And there's some businesses I meet with on an annual basis, and I said, well, this is what we focused on last year. What do we want to focus on this year? Let's change our objective. Instead of doing the free contributions in member news that hits those 5,000, let's try doing a whole sponsor or a display table and having people start seeing you with the brand. Yeah. So we're really intentional and strategic with what we do for each of our members, because again, it's kind of a boutique membership. Yeah. So we really want to get to know the people, and that way we know who to introduce them to and how we can expand each of your networks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a win-win at the end of the day.
Something for everybody, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is. I know, as I said in the beginning, it's definitely helped shape where I'm at here in 2023 and onward. So thank you for your leadership with the SBA. Thank you for being here on the show today, to be able to talk a little bit about it and dive deeper in it. Hopefully it provides value to the people that are out there, and we could see them at one of these events in the near future.
Wouldn't
But thank you.
Be great. Thank you. I appreciate all three of you. And thank you for bringing Brandworthy.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, happy to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. You don't overdress us ever again, though. No.
Yeah, you're going to be off camera next time. No, so if you're not part of the SBA, I think you go out there, get involved. If you want to make an impact in the local community, get out there and do something about it. SBA is a great way to do that. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks,
Until next
everybody.
time.
We'll see you next time, and stay local. Peace.